What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of BAMGPG. I'll be your host, Bryson,
And I'll be your co-host, Ben.
and today we're going to do a quarterback tier list. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe it, and go check out our TikTok, BAMGPG.
All right, Bryson, so let's do it. Let's make a tier list with the NFL quarterbacks here. Let's pull it up here. So our buckets are going to be best of the best, franchise quarterback, really good, good, move on in a couple of years, bridge quarterback, too early to tell, and the Caleb Williams bucket, trash. So first quarterback, Bryson, I'll let you go ahead and kick it off here. Jalen Hurts.
I'll put him in really good.
Jalen Hurts is really good. I would agree with that. Yep. Next guy on our list here is Bryce Young. I am going to put him in the too early to tell. I'm not quite sold on him, but not ready to give up on him quite yet. So, and then a guy you're a big fan of right here,
Jayden Daniels.
Jayden Daniels.
I'll put him in I'll put him in good.
Put him in good.
It's just his first year. I do not want to put him in really good yet.
It is, yeah. So next guy on our list here, Bryson, is Baker Mayfield. I am going to put him in the good category.
Okay.
And that brings us to Dak Prescott, Bryson.
I'll put Dak Prescott in good.
In the good category. And then Brock Purdy, 49ers quarterback. I'm also going to put him in the good category. I know he's a system quarterback. You know, absolutely nothing wrong with that. He runs it well. He fits into it perfect. So I'm going to put him in the good category here.
Next up, we got Derek Carr. I'll put him in... I'm not going to put him in trash. I'll put him in move on in a couple of years.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think he's sneaky good.
He is. He's a solid quarterback for him. Is he a franchise or really good quarterback at this point in his career? Probably not. It's probably a guy you can move on from a couple of years. I totally agree with that. Geno Smith, another guy, fits right into that bucket. It's probably a guy you move on from here in a couple of years. And then our next guy, Bryson.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
I'll put him in good.
I would agree. I'm not, potentially really good. We'll see. If he was more of a system quarterback there under Ben Johnson. He's going to have a new offensive coordinator this year, so we'll see how he fits in with that. If he excels, maybe he's in that really good category. I'm just not sold on that quite yet as well. And then our next guy here, Bryson.
Drake May.
Drake May. I'm going to put too early to tell for him yet, right? He's on a tough team right now. Still played pretty decent, but you'd like to see a little bit more, another season or two before you make a real definitive answer on him. And the CJ Stroud, Bryson.
I'll put him in good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good quarterback. Struggled this year at times. That offensive line didn't do him any favors, so we'll see if they get him some help. And then Aaron Rodgers. I am still going to put him in the... I think the guy can still sling it. I'm going to still put him in the really good bucket.
Really? I'd put him in bridge quarterback.
Potentially. He's kind of borderline bridge and really good, right? So he, despite all the negatives the Jets had this past year, he had a really good season. So down from where he's typically at, I'm not...
He's just bridge because he's too old.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he could probably fit in there because he's too old, but his arm talent, I still think he's really good. As you mentioned, he's older, so he's not a franchise quarterback anymore, and I don't think he's the best of the best. He's lost a little bit of his edge, but he's still really good.
Now we got Deshaun Watson. I'll put him in trash.
I agree. Trash. Gardner Minshew. I'm going to put him in the bridge quarterback category. You'll probably disagree with that. I think that's where he fits.
I would put him in trash.
he's serviceable. He's enough to manage you through if you're limping through for a year. Probably not more than a year. We'll put a year. He'd be a 1-year bridge quarterback for me. And then the next guy here, Bryson, Caleb Williams.
Trash.
Absolutely. Bears quarterback right in the trash. And then our next guy on the list here, Bryson.
Anthony Richardson.
Where are we going with him?
I put him in too early to tell.
We'll put him there. For me, I don't like his accuracy. I don't like him as a quarterback. Yeah, he has a big arm. I just don't think he reads the field very well. I don't think he's very accurate with the ball. For me, he's already a bust. I'd throw him in the trash category, but we'll put him in the too early, not there. It's too early to tell which direction his career is going. Daniel Jones, it's an easy one. Right in the trash.
Yeah. We'll put Aiden O'Connell in trash.
Yeah, he's trash too. And then our next guy on the list here, Bryson.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. I think he's good, right? So,
Yeah.
It's also a little early to tell, but I think he's good. I'm going to put him into the good category. He played well with the Broncos this year, good enough to where they were competing for a playoff spot. So I'm going to put him in the good category this year.
J.J. McCarthy, he's too early to tell.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't seen much out of him. He had that season-ending injury this year, so too early to tell. And then Joe Burrow, absolutely best of the best, right? He's in that category. Probably between him and Lamar, one of those two probably should have won the MVP if it's going to a quarterback. If not, I think Saquon should have won it, but if we're going to turn it into a quarterback award, should have been Burrow or Lamar Jackson this year.
Jordan Love. This is a tough one. I don't think he's the best of the best yet. He's a franchise quarterback, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a franchise quarterback. He has some developing to do. This year was only his second year as a starter, right? And he dealt with injuries throughout the entire season. So that kind of set him back a little bit. Not much. His numbers were still fantastic on the year, right? But he still has some progression to take going into year 3. Still an elite quarterback in my mind. Franchise quarterback fits him well.
I don't think he's best of the best yet.
Not yet, no. So Josh Allen, I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I'm going to put him up there in the best of the best.
He definitely did not deserve MVP, though.
Not over the other two guys, no. Any other season, possibly. But when you have numbers like Joe Burrow and Lamar we're putting up this year, he shouldn't have taken the edge over them. I absolutely agree with that. And then Justin Fields, Bryson.
I'll put him in probably bridge quarterback. He's just old.
He's still young, actually. I can't remember exactly how old he is.
Wait, how young?
He's young. He may be 25, 26. But you're right. I mean, the Bears ruined him. Like they do every quarterback, they ruin him. Bridge quarterback makes a ton of sense. It's kind of how the Steelers, approached it with him and Russell Wilson this year. So it makes a ton of sense. Bridge quarterback, yeah, that's the bucket for him. All right, Bryson, next guy.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. I'm going to throw him in the franchise quarterback bucket. Good quarterback.
I agree.
Hardball's kind of resurrected his career a little bit, so to speak. So I think that's a good bucket for him. Kirk Cousins.
I'll put him in bridge quarterback. He's old.
Yeah, with his age, you saw a lot of regression this year. Bridge quarterback makes a ton of sense, especially at his age.
Yeah. Now we got Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. I'm gonna put him in the good category. Right? I don't think he's terrible, but I also don't think he's that next level where he's really good or a franchise quarterback. So He's the guy they probably don't move on from in a couple years. That's why I put him in the good category.
I'll put Lamar Jackson in best of the best.
Absolutely. Lamar he's that top tier quarterback level. Absolutely.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. So I still think I'm going to put him in the really good category. Still think he's a really good quarterback. You know, I wouldn't consider him a franchise quarterback at this point in his career, given his age. So, yeah, really good quarterback in this league still. Absolutely. Patrick Mahomes.
I'll put him in really good.
Put him in really good. I might have put franchise for him, but we'll put him in really good for this.
I would put him in best of the best, but I just have that Chiefs fatigue.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's got that. So the next guy here, Russell Wilson. He falls under that bridge quarterback, right? Still good enough to start in this league, but he's not a guy you're going to build around. He's not a guy you're going to bring in as a franchise quarterback, and he's also not a guy that's going to resurrect the team and lead them to the playoffs, right? He's kind of that gap stop until your next guy's ready. So, bridge quarterback for him.
Sam Darnold. I'll put him in bridge quarterback.
Bridge quarterback. Okay. I may have put him in, move on in a couple years. He's not going to be a Minnesota Viking next year, with McCarthy in the waiting. So, yeah, I mean, bridge quarterback would make sense. He's probably going to be looking for a 4 or 5 year deal, kind of that long-term deal at quarterback. Had a great season in Minnesota. Again, Kirk Cousins had a great season in Minnesota too, a couple years prior to that. Have great wide receivers, great tight end there. They had a good running back. So I think he was just a product of their system there in Minnesota. So I 100% agree with that. Gardner Minshew. I'm going to throw him in the good category.
Oh, that's not Gardner Minshew. That's
not
Trevor
Gardner
Lawrence.
Minshew. Sorry, the long hair threw me off. So Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, no, the good category. All right. So I think he's a good quarterback. He has the potential to be really good or even that franchise level. But
he just looks bad because he's on a bad team.
They are. I mean, Jacksonville's defenses, they're bad. They're bad. Their secondary is terrible. Any other team, he may look fantastic, but as of right now, I'm going to put him in the good category. If they're able to build around him, we'll see what he can produce out on the field. But for now, I'll put him in the good category.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua.
I'll put him in. Move on in a couple of years.
I would agree. This point in his career, given his head injuries and everything else going on, move on a couple of years makes a ton of sense for him. He's not a guy, I don't think he's going to be a long-term solution for Miami moving forward. We'll see what Tyreek does. That team may be in some trouble. They may have to start tearing down, but we'll see. But move on a couple of years. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Now we got Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Trash.
Also in the trash category. So here's our quarterback tier list. Best of the best up top here. And then the guys in waiting, right? Herbert and Jordan Love. So they both are young quarterbacks. They have potential to move up. And then our trash quarterbacks. You got Watson. You got Daniel Jones.
Done.
Might as well just call this Chicago Bears. Doesn't matter what quarterback's there, but for this purpose, it's Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Kevin
O'Connell.
Aiden
O'Connell.
And
Will Levis.
Mayonnaise boy himself there, Mr. Pick Six. So there is our tier list for quarterbacks in the NFL, Bryson.
And just ignore Alaska.
Yes.
Guys.
Yep.
We have no idea who he is.
There we go. So there's our list, everyone. Let us know if you agree, disagree, where you'd have some of these guys sitting. This didn't include the rookie class coming in. I would probably drop those. Any rookie coming in this year, I'd probably drop in the too early to tell bucket. So we didn't include any rookies coming into the NFL this year. So that's our list, Bryson.
And as always,
let's go Pack Go.